ओम अज्ञानतिभ्रान्तस्य ज्ञानजनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Reading from the book Nine Keys from the Sixth Ashtaka. Chanting through anything. Perhaps we hear a Maha Mantra and suddenly intuit that Krishna is present in his name. Does Krishna's name is Krishna? Where did that feeling come from? Did it take birth in the mind? Is it coming from Krishna himself? Don't worry about it. Simply chant. Don't try to capture any thoughts that pass through the mind. If the thoughts are coming from Krishna, then we can be assured that Krishna will come to us in other ways as well. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Ye yata mam prapadyante, he appears to us in proportion to how much we want to meet him. If we can simply learn to chant properly, our desire to be with him will increase and impurities that block us from that pure desire will dissipate. So keep the mind focused. Devotees who consciously follow their thoughts realize how common it is for the mind to converse with itself while they chant. Perhaps the devotee sit down to chant and find his mind captivated by visual impressions. He decides to close his eyes but begins to nod. Within minutes, his mind is weighing the relative value of chanting with his eyes open and his eyes closed. The discussion goes on with endless commentary. That's until it spins off onto another topic. But it doesn't matter whether we chant with our eyes open or closed. Draw the mind back to the name. We have to be determined to keep it focused on the sound of mantra we are chanting at that moment. If we find our determination temporarily derailed, we can take the moment we notice the derailment to restate our sankalpa. No matter what we may think or feel, best to stay with simple hearing. When the mind understands that we are serious in our task, it will tend to relax and cooperate. The mantra will reveal Krishna if we can hear the sound vibration Krishna. Devotees are often afraid that Krishna will never reveal himself to them, but our acharyas have guaranteed that we all will be successful through appropriate endeavor. Simply chant one mantra. Once the mind is trained, a gentle reminder will become sufficient. Chanting is not meant to be a mechanical process. If we listen to Krishna's names, we will find him present there. Let the mind embrace the holy name. Embracing the holy name means tasting the holy name, and tasting begins with listening and then hearing it. If we hear the name, we will naturally experience taste for it. The name, after all, is Krishna. When the mind and heart embrace the holy name, it will no longer be difficult to chant. At present, we struggle to force the mind to listen to Krishna's name. But if we can slow down the mind enough to hear the name, will begin to manifest its sweetness. Then our consciousness will embrace the holy name and the holy name will hold us. We cannot control the holy name's response to our chanting, but we can do our part, make a determined attempt to fix our attention on Krishna's name. Srila Prabhupada writes, spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualifications, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Volunteer endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 38, from purport. In 1975, a disciple asked Srila Prabhupada how to control the restless mind while chanting Japa. Srila Prabhupada gave surprising and grave reply. What's the use of controlling the mind? You have to chant and hear. You have to chant with your tongue, hear the sound. That's all. What's the question of the mind? And this was actually taken from a room conversation happened on Feb 3rd, 1975 in Hawaii. The highest benediction. The Skanda Purana, as it is quoted in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa, states, the holy name of Krishna is the highest benediction. It is important to remember. The Padyavali, text 18, encourages us. Let us twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga. Sorry, let the twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga. Let them enter Vedic study and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. As for us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of words chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers, blossoming in a grove of yellow flower bearing kalamba trees. What can cause a chanter to truly understand the holy name as a highest benediction and to find satisfaction in doing nothing but chanting and meditating on Krishna? Krishna is non different from his names. Devotees who bathe their entire self, Sarvatma Snapanam, in such a nectar, Purnamrita, taste the nectar fully, Aswadhanam. This is the beauty of power and this is the beauty and power of the holy name. And this is Sri Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu gift. That is Mahaprabhu's special gift was to make highest goal of life, Prema Bhakti, attainable by the simple process of chanting Krishna's names without offense. But to receive this gift, we must stand properly, and the foundation of proper chanting is attentive hearing. All the spiritual attainments that follow attentive hearing are like ornaments of this essential practice. Therefore, the more we listen with attention, the more we will hear, and the more love we will feel for Krishna. As our love for beloved naturally blossoms when we hear his or her name, how much more intense will our love be when the one we are calling is non different from his name? To reach the depth of meditation, a true lover of God sustains the Gaudiyas tell a story. There was once an elderly Brahmana who had been walking in the forest. He realized that it was Sandhya and time to chant his mantras. He sat at the edge of the forest path and began his recitation, thinking himself quite alone. Suddenly, a young woman came running along and knocked into him. He didn't stop to see if she had heard him, but continued running into the forest. The Brahmana was upset. He had been engaged in the sacred duty of reciting his mantras as peacefully and attentively as possible, but he had been forced to suffer this insult. Still, it was the Sandhya, so he continued to recite his mantras despite his disturbed mind. 2 hours later, the same woman returned, this time walking quite peacefully. As she approached the Brahmana, she immediately offered her obeisances, asking him if there was any service she might offer him. The Brahmana was confused by her contradictory behavior. Remember her previous neglect, and he asked, I don't understand. You're offering me respect now, but earlier you ran over me while I was chanting my mantra, kicking me in the process. You didn't even stop to help me, nor did you inquire if you had caused me any harm. The young woman was mortified. She then humbly and with embarrassment told him the truth. I'm sorry, but I was running in other direction. I was hurrying to meet my lover. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice you, but saw only my lover in my mind. Now I'm returning from my rendezvous and have regained my awareness of everything around me. Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Here, I mean, honestly speaking, what I am able to get is it's always better to chant Maha Mantra sincerely, both with the mind and with the concentration. And there have been, and as soon as you start doing mantra, you will definitely feel Krishna surrounding you. And it doesn't matter whether we are chanting 1 round or 4 rounds or 16 rounds, but as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, chanting 16 rounds is always a very good option. It's always better for us to realize and then just concentrate ourselves on chanting. Now, some people say I should sit down at the corner of a room quietly chanting. Some says it's always good to chant while you're working. But the best thing is possible is definitely having a concentration to chant the Mahamantra sincerely every day. Every day, sorry. All we need to make sure is we should not be disturbed with the surroundings that's happening. Of course, if there is anything that is really needed, then definitely need to attend it. But we have to make sure that we practice it. And I always see that difference from my side when I started my chanting, and now I see myself the difference. One experience that I can share is not only the chanting, but the peace of mind when you said the mental peace that the person gets during chanting, and then the consciousness that we have, it's like unexplainable. However, we have to chant the mantra, not just like simply chanting. We need to feel, we need to get that, what you said, that madhurya or the taste while doing this chanting. As we saw just in the example of a person, there was a Brahmana who was chanting, there was a woman who hit him and went in, but she was only saw her lover. And when she came back, he offered her obeisances. And then she said she was sorry, but she was thinking of her lover. We also have some of these similar experiences. Definitely, we all have something or other. But what is that we need to do is we need to show our devotion, bhakti during the chanting and not think anything about it. Let me stop here, Prabhu. Let me continue my chanting.